Welcome to episode 10 of Just Some Points. After a week of break, we're back, and as I know my colleagues, I'm sure we'll talk a lot of exciting stuff. I have something I'm excited about, so why don't we get started with Melissa? Why don't you get started?
Sure. So this week was actually a really fun week for me because I attended a virtual expo hosted by SMX Next. And all of the sessions, it was 2 days long, and all the sessions were really, really fascinating, hosted by various marketing directors and heads of tech companies like Microsoft and Moz. And one of the really big themes that we talked about was the Google algorithm and Google's latest algorithm announcement called the Page Experience Update, which will be launching in 2021. While everyone agrees there's no way to be algorithm proof, there is a lot that you can do with, this second half of the year to prepare for that update, because Page Experience Update goes far beyond just making sure that you're a mobile-friendly, user experience-friendly website. There's a lot of technical sides of things that you could do. There's a lot of design work and functionality, things that you can add into your website to make sure that you are truly being user-focused and user-friendly. One of the sessions I listened to was actually hosted by Northwell Health, which was really interesting because our client base is very heavily healthcare related. And they actually gave a statistic that there are 175 million health-related searches per day, which equates to about 1 in 20 searches being health-related. So wow. That is obviously tons of search volume across the board, but that also means
I think health, if I interrupt you for a moment, sure. I think health is the third or fourth biggest search category,
huge.
Right?
Yeah, it's huge. Yeah. And that means that you have to keep up with your competition, because another statistic that they gave us was 1 in 6 patients don't get any sort of personal recommendation or referral before they choose what office to go to. So that means that 1 in 6 people are they're doing their own research, they're finding you online before they make a commitment and they pick a practice to choose from. So you have to make sure that you are, adapting your website time and time again. It's not just a one and done thing. You have to make sure that you're keeping up with Google's guidelines and common standards so that you can start ranking very, very well.
So do you have a little bit more details what page experience means? Does it relate to how long somebody stayed on the page, what they did on the page, and how do they intend to track? What does it mean, page experience?
So right now it's pretty vague. They haven't released the full specs of the update just yet, but a lot of the marketers that were leading these sessions actually think that this is going to be more about perception than about statistics. So it's going to be more about how your brand is perceived, how trusted you face your how trusted and credible you face yourself as online, rather than necessarily bounce rate and things like that. I mean, those are obviously still going to be a very big portion of it, but I think part of it is just making sure that you're definitely thinking in a mobile first perspective, making sure that across the board, everybody, no matter at what point they come into your website, that they can still find the information that they need. One of the biggest kind of tips that they gave was that if it takes more than 3 clicks for someone to achieve their goal of your website, then you've lost them. Your website's too complicated and you need to scale back and reevaluate the overall architecture of your website.
That's funny. It's really interesting. Those 3 clicks, that statistic or that rule exists actually for a long, long time. When we start getting into marketing 20 years ago, even then, it was like if a user is not within 3 clicks at the information they want, they're gone. So it's interesting how that really hasn't changed
Exactly.
over all this time. And so, but what I'm hearing is it's a lot will be actually probably navigation from what I'm hearing. The whole basically it's almost like actually an area that we are working a lot is patient experience and the patient journey.
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting. Wow.
Exactly.
So actually, it probably also, I know very often we use tools that allows us to see the click and scroll behavior of users on our client's website. So if we see, for example, that users that come to a landing page don't scroll down, then we make changes to the landing page. So I bet that those things will become more important in the future. That we have to track those things.
Exactly. It's becoming more and more about the, individualized, personalized experience when someone gets to your page, no matter how they get to it, from Facebook, from Google, from a directory online. It doesn't matter where they come in. That's the point. That entry point is really important to capture.
Well,
very cool. Very good.
I think so many companies have limited budgets, so I applaud Google for stepping up, because I think now, Facebook is making changes, LinkedIn is making changes. So when you're looking at your marketing budget, you want to see results. Before, impressions mattered. Now people want results. They don't just want somebody coming to their page. They don't just want somebody, clicking through or maybe spending a minute or two on their website. They want the full, more bang for their buck, quality versus quantity kind of thing. So I totally agree.
Very good. Very good, Melissa. That was really interesting. So I'm excited actually talking about that more. And, as you learn more about it, I think we'll come back to that topic. I know that we as a company will start working on that and seeing what we can do to we make sure that our clients' online experience is great. Let me talk about what I want to talk about this week. And it's something that, we've all seen with everything going on online and offline, the Black Lives Matter movement with the demonstrations and everything. I want to tie this back to marketing and what companies are doing. And I want to have a discussion about that. So I want to first go through some basically level the field and, bring everybody up to speed, some of the things that are happening. Uber and Facebook have posted public notes to express support for the Black Lives Matter movement, as so many other companies have done. But Dr. Berg refuses Facebook to better regulate hate speech and racism. So what is it? Amazon and Twitter have posted on their platforms with banners, changed their profile pictures in support of Black Lives Matter. But when you look at their management, for example, there's no significant representation of Black people anywhere in management there. Mm-hmm. Google puts a statement out on support of Black Lives Matter. Google's workforce is 54.4% white and 3.3% Black. Wow. So what is it? How much do we support? The NFL, as we all saw, the CEO, Roger Goodell, announced that it was a mistake how Kaepernick was treated wrong. But for years, he touted, in the tones of the president, why he was able to fly in his wings, meaning it was better to basically, fly in the wings of President Trump. Now it's better to, side with Black Lives Matter and say it was wrong. So the common theme of all of this is, how much does this really matter? How much does this really support a brand, help a brand, or how much of that actually is really damaging a brand or hurting a brand because it's just not genuine? Because at the end of the day, you have to live those things, and you have to show true, marketing today is not what it used to be. And I think especially the younger generation holds brands more accountable towards their behavior, which is great. It's probably due to the power of online, And so I was thinking, what should an NFL have done, in this? So rather than saying, it was a mistake, in my opinion, what he should have done, it would have been much more powerful and genuine if he would have maybe resigned and said, that was on me, I made a mistake. Or if he doesn't resign, at least behind the scenes, maybe make a real effort to try to get Kaepernick back, and a few others too. It was not just him. He was just the most visible one. Work behind the scenes, not seen to everybody, and then once you have something to show that you've done, then you talk about what you've done if you really want to get the marketing benefit from it. So in my opinion, so in general, I would say from a marketing perspective, if you're a brand, a company today, and you're thinking about how you want to deal with all of that, I think you shouldn't take a shortcut. A more sustainable approach is something I would advise our clients. So I'm advising our clients. Mm-hmm. And we, if you want to support social movements, show that you really mean it and live it. Right. Have community support in place. Mm-hmm. Show it in your hiring. That in your hiring policy and in your ratio. And I know it's not always easy to do that. We ourselves struggle with that, and we talk about it constantly. Have conscious content that you're creating, meaning be very conscious of how you communicate. So I was thinking, how can you really prove, that you're serious about it? Because at the end of the day, it's all about making sure that you're authentic, it's genuine, and because if we can show that, then it's at best a straw fire. It makes poof and it's gone. But more likely in today's world, I think people are starting to see through the curtain and say, that is not genuine, that's not a brand I want to associate with. Mm-hmm. Now I was thinking, okay, how do you actually show that you're authentic as a company, and how do you show evidence? And I thought it's in the money. What's the evidence? What better evidence is there? Show that you have some financial stake in what you're actually claiming and what you want to do and what you're saying you're doing, and then talk about it. You can talk about it. I think there's nothing wrong when you've done something great as a company that you go out and brag about it, what you have done. Mm-hmm. I think it's a big mistake for brands to go out right now, as we see from so many CEOs, to go out and say and tout what they will do. That to me is not good. That is just a marketing gig, a PR gig. Mm-hmm. That is really, I think, not perceived very well. Like, I actually want to take credit for that. I want to take actually advantage of that. I'll give you an example. We as a company, when we started 20 years ago, it was very strong, very important for Chris and myself, who started the company. We believed that everybody should have healthcare. So we were a company with one employee, and that one employee had healthcare from his first day, and it was 100% paid by our company then, and we didn't have a lot of money then. It's just we made it part of our expense, and it's part of our DNA that our employees have healthcare. That's just how it is. So it's a matter of, we never talked about, I don't have a problem. I'm proud of that fact, and after 20 years being in business, I think, if companies do that, you can go out and brag about those things, but don't brag about things you will do, especially in times right now. Just one, and I'll wrap it up with that. You see, for example, all the brands that are struggling right now with the images, Aunt Jemima, what with the packaging, what they're doing there. You know, a lot of them, you know, announcing that they're making changes to the products, but, you know, they don't know yet what they will do. You know, in my opinion, again, make the changes and just go with it. You know, don't try to make it, you know, you have done the wrong thing for too long. Now don't try to make it a big deal that now you're changing it. You know, it should have been changed in the past.
Right.
Just make the change and move on. So
Right.
I want to bring this up and want to make this a topic because it's really getting under my skin how a lot of the brands and companies are trying to take credit for something. There's no credits to take. You do what you have to do. Good, it's good, but don't take credit for it because it should have been done a long time ago. So.
And Thomas, I want to talk a little bit about that. So I think so many companies right now with the images, with Aunt Jemima, with Uncle Ben, with Mrs. Butterworth, the Eskimo Pie, those are all 4 brands that have stepped up and said, we're one, either going to discontinue, 2, we're going to change our image, or 3, we're redoing all of our packaging. I feel like what they're doing is they're reacting. They're reacting suddenly. It's put in their face. They don't like what they see, even though they should have seen that years ago. But now they're reacting. What they should be doing is responding. But my personal opinion, let's say Mrs. Butterworth is a well-known name. I won't lie. I have always bought that brand. My grandma always bought that brand. So to me, like growing up, that was like, no offense, like a family brand. What they should be doing is on the back of their packaging, maybe keeping the image the same, saying, we don't, or the reason why we use the symbol is to tell her story, to say that this was a woman that went through things that she shouldn't go through. And then in turn, a percentage of profit goes to build brand awareness that this was not okay, that we are honoring her for what the sacrifices she made or what she had, the struggles in life, and then turn it around and respond with doing something, not just saying, okay, we're taking it away. Don't do that. Make something of her. Make her sacrifices worthwhile. Make that everything
right.
this woman.
Exactly right, because you bring it back to the money too, because now you show commitment by actually taking money and actually not for yourself. It's all driven right now by fear of losing money instead of addressing the issue and committing some money for the better cause. Your point is exactly in the same direction. I can completely agree with you.
Yeah, I think a big part of it is not just what you're doing in the immediate, time, but what is your plan long term? What is the longevity of the impact that you're going to have with these changes? And my example that I always think back on is Ben & Jerry's ice cream, because I know what they're posting right now is true to who they are and what they believe in, because 2 years ago, before any of this really started, was I went to their factory tour, and I was in Vermont, and I took a tour, and there was posters and the videos and everything was all about what they're posting today. They were true to their word from the very beginning. And I think so now I know that it's genuine. I know that it's true to what they really believe in. And that's why I support Ben & Jerry's. And that's why I would always choose Ben & Jerry's over other ice cream other than their flavors. But, and I think that is something that other companies have to start looking at, is what do they want to do long term? How much, not only how much do they financially want to commit to it, but 3 years from now, are they going to have the same message that they do today?
Right. Exactly.
I couldn't agree more. Very well said. So that's a good wrap up for this topic. So, but I think we'll watch this more, and I think I want to come back to this and as we see more stuff on that. So thanks. So Tammy, you on? What do you got for this week?
Well, not to totally flip the switches, but I'm sort of going back to what Melissa was talking about, advertisement. I wanted to talk about LinkedIn. For so many years, LinkedIn has been, people look at it as a networking tool, and I feel like it is sort of changing its whole platform. One advantage, they've stepped up their game. Now you can advertise on on LinkedIn. And one thing that is really cool about LinkedIn is that you're getting the exact audience that you're looking for. So many times on Facebook, you can narrow down the results, but people aren't always on Facebook. They're not always. Let's say if you're an investment broker and you're looking to your client that you're wanting to hit is, let's say, a professional, a VP, he makes this amount of money and he lives in this area. This is where some of these professional companies, like that provide services, financial, even healthcare, people are on LinkedIn. One, job security is not where it used to be before. You work for a company. My husband's been at a company for 20 years, and he still doesn't have that hardcore job security. So everybody is on LinkedIn. How many business people have you talked to that always say, is your resume up to date? So people are on LinkedIn, and what I'm noticing, as crazy as it sounds, I'm now on LinkedIn more than I'm on Facebook, just because I like content. I like good articles. I love reading things that's going on in the world, whether it be with politics, I feel like it's a more professional view versus, somebody just ranting that, they don't like what's going on in the world. But it's amazing. LinkedIn has increased their views since the whole COVID for their users, like 25%. LinkedIn has over 575 million users. And then on top of it, when you do advertise on that, you can actually get down to an exact industry that a person is in. So let's say you're looking for, you're back to the investment broker. You're looking for somebody, you can hashtag retirement, you can hashtag, healthcare. So I feel like from a business point of view, if that's your clientele, if you're looking for that professional customer, that professional client, let's say you have a specialty, you're in plastic surgeons and you want that more, your client or your, I can't put it into words. You're looking for that, not rich, but more wealthy, the higher end client. What better way versus doing it that way versus some of the other platforms?
Right. No, and I'm happy you bring up LinkedIn today, because I'm amazed how much they also integrate now into other platforms.
Right.
For example, you as in business development, you've done a great job in integrating into our CRM system. And for example, what you can do today, you can link your LinkedIn into your CRM system, where you basically log all the interactions with your clients or your leads. And let's say a lead leaves and goes to a new company. LinkedIn makes a push into your CRM system, updates the information of that lead and the organization, which is, I think, really phenomenal. Also, one of the things you said is so true. I have to say, like, for me, the Facebook content to me is more trash. It's like, it's just the quality is really not good. Mm-hmm. And then the advertising is really over the top now, in my opinion, or the push content I really don't want to see. And LinkedIn really has a much better quality of content. I agree. And also, I think one big difference is Facebook does have fake accounts, a lot of fake accounts. LinkedIn, you really can't have a fake account there unless you really put a lot of effort in.
Right.
I think they are 700 million or whatever it was. They're true users.
Right. Because think if you're a retail company and you sell suits right now, that's probably a struggling industry with people not going to work, people not meeting face to face with customers. So let's say that you sell men's professional attire. I would be all over LinkedIn if I was that company, just to say, hey, this is presentable. This is, a great way to advertise, because it's like, okay, if you're going to spend your marketing dollars, make sure you're spending them to the audience that you want to reach, and then knowing what the best platform is. LinkedIn may not be for you. Facebook may be the best option for your company, but the key thing is to be, one, making the right decision that fits the best for your either your company, your brand, or your service. And then the second thing is measuring your results, knowing that,
Right.
okay, and there's so many tools now that, I mean, we use as a marketing company that we compare. Okay, this company does better on this platform, then let's move the marketing dollars over there. So many times people set up ads and they let them just continuously run year after year after year, and they see the results they see results, so they don't change. They're not open to change. Whereas sometimes,
Well, they
slight
see the
change-
results, but they don't know if they maximize the dollars.
Exactly.
Yeah, like I think people always assume social media platforms are very different from each other, but truly the essence of social media is the same no matter what platform you're using. LinkedIn and Facebook both have private messages and groups and feeds and everything. Like it's all essentially the same. It's just a matter of knowing your audience and knowing which platform your audience is using. So
Right.
that's it, it comes down to really kind of defining your personas of your target audience and then going from there.
And going back
That's
to the
another
list of like what you talked about, the Google page experience, I feel like all these companies are stepping up because they're competing. So they want to show it's no longer quantity over quality. I feel like all these companies, when it comes to your paid advertising, that you're going to start seeing a major results for just good quality of your money spent. They have to prove it. People are getting too smart.
Yes.
Right. Great. I think that's a good wrap up for another great episode, episode 10. I'm looking forward to the next 10. We should maybe, I was just thinking as we were talking about LinkedIn, maybe talk at one point about all the innovation and new things and tools you can do today in business development and all the different platforms and how they actually interlink and so. But it's maybe something for future episodes. I hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you hopefully next week. Bye.
Sounds great.
Bye.